Hello everyone, the topic of today's discussion is permanent maxillary canine. So the objective of today's discussion is to study in detail the morphology of maxillary canine, also to identify and differentiate between the canines of right and the left side, and to differentiate the maxillary counterpart from the mandibular. So we'll be covering the topic under the following headings. Now starting with the introduction, the canines are supposed to be the longest and the most stable teeth in the dental arch. When we talk about their presentation, they are present in both the primary and the permanent dentition. One canine is present in each quadrant, two in each arch. So in total, we have 4 primary canine and 4 permanent canine. They are considered to be the cornerstones of the dental arch, and they are the only teeth in dentition which have single cusp. That is why they are known as cuspids. However, premolars have 2 cusps, so they are considered to be bicuspids, and the canines are considered to be cuspids. They are also known as eye teeth because they directly come under the eyes. And on the labial surface, we have a convexity that is known as the labial ridge. Coming on to the general characteristics, when we see the position of the canine in the arch, they are third from the midline and they lie between the anterior and the posterior teeth. In the universal notation system, the maxillary canine denoted as 6 and 11, and they have one single facial cusp. Talking about the function of canines, they help in occlusion, in piercing, tearing, and lateral guiding. Also, they give aesthetic and the facial support, and also they help in the speech or the phonetics. When we see the dimensions, they have greatest crown root length in either arch. In maxilla as well as in mandible, canines are the longest teeth. When we compare the canine to that of central incisors, the crown length is almost same. The mesodistal dimension of canine is narrower in comparison to that of central incisors. However, it is faciolingually wider. So when we see the crown of the canine, it is mesodistally narrower and faciolingually it is wider. So these canines are the widest anterior teeth faciolingually. Also, the roots of the canine is the longest of all the anterior teeth. The cingulum is more prominent in comparison to these incisors, and the middle of lobe of the canine is more developed, which forms the cusp. The canine on the lingual view has 2 lingual fossa, which has been divided by a lingual ridge. Coming on to the nomenclature, in the universal notation system, it has been denoted as 6 and 11. In Zsigmondy and Palmer notation system, it has been denoted as right side 3 and left side 3, and in the FDA system, it is denoted as 1, 3 and 2, 3. Now, when we talk about the dimensions of maxillary canine, it is the longest tooth in the dental arch. So the crown length is 10, and the root length, that is the maximum of all the teeth, is about 17. However, in some rarity, it can be more than that also. It is mesodistally less wider in comparison to the incisors, and buccolingually or faciolingually it is wider. When we see the chronology, the first evidence of calcification is seen in 4 to 5 months. Crown completion takes place about 6 to 7 years. The age of eruption for permanent canine is 11 to 12 years. However, the root completion takes place after 13 to 14 years. Now, starting with the views, the first view is the labial view. In the labial view, we can appreciate that the anatomy, the geometric form is pentagonal and it shows a trapezoidal form. There is strong labial ridge with mesiofacial and distofacial developmental depression. So there is a convexity on the surface of the labial aspect, which is the labial ridge. And on the both the side, there will be developmental depressions, which are known as mesiofacial developmental depression and distofacial developmental depression. The height of contour from the labial view is appreciated in the cervical 1/3. From the mesial outline, the outline is convex from mesial height of contour to the cervical line. The contact area is at the junction of incisal and middle 1/3, whereas in the distal outline, the distal height of contour is at middle 1/3, which was seen to be at the junction of incisal and the middle 1/3, and the distal outline is shorter than the mesial outline. Also, there is distal bulge with slight cervical concavity. When we see the incisal outline from the labial view, there are 2 ridges. or the cuspal slopes, that is the mesial cusp ridge and the distal cusp ridge, the mesial being shorter in comparison to the distal. However, because of the atresion or wearing with aging, the mesial ridge can become longer. Also, when we draw a midline starting from the cusp to the root tip, the cusp tip is in the midline of the root. Now coming on to the lingual aspect, from the lingual view, we can appreciate that all the outline, that is the mesial, distal and the incisal, is very much similar to that of labial view. However, on the lingual view, there is bulky cingulum. The cingulum is large and it is more bulky in comparison to central incisor. It is bulkiest of all the anterior teeth. And there are ridges which can be appreciated on the lingual view, that is the mesial marginal ridge and the distal marginal ridge. Also, there is a lingual ridge and there are two shallow concavities on the lingual view. One is the mesolingual fossa, another is the distolingual fossa. Now, when we appreciate the lingual view, there can be sometime presence of lingogingival groove and the lingual pit, which is not commonly seen. And the height of contour is seen in the cervical third, similar to that of the labial view. Also, there is slight offset in the cervical line. So, in the lingual view, we can appreciate the cervical line, the cingulum, mesial marginal ridge and the distal marginal ridge, mesolingual fossa and the distal lingual fossa. In the center, we have lingual ridge and the cuspal slopes, that is mesial cusp ridge and distal cusp ridge. So, we can appreciate all these structures in the lingual anatomy of maxillary canine. When we see the root from the lingual view, it is conical and tapering towards the apex. Now coming on to the proximal views. In the proximal view, we have mesial view first. It is triangular or wedge shape. It is wider faciolingually in comparison to incisors. We have already discussed in the general characteristic that it is the widest faciolingual tooth in anterior teeth. When we draw a cusp tip line from the midline, the crown is slightly facial to the long axis of the tooth. And when we see the labial outline, it is convex and the height of contour is at cervical third. In the mesial view, the lingual outline is convex in the gingival half and it is concave in the incisal half, as you can appreciate in the picture. Also, the height of contour is in the cervical third. So, height of contour lingually and labially from the mesial view is at cervical third. The crown outline labially is convex, however, lingually it is concavo-convex. The mesial height of contour at the junction is at the junction of incisal and the middle thirds. Now, when we see the distal view, the cervical half is usually concave. The cemento-enamel line curvature, the cervical curvature is less in comparison to the mesial, which we have already discussed that always the cervical curvature is more on the mesial side and less on the distal side. The height of contour is present in the middle third and the distal marginal ridge is heavier and more irregular in outline in comparison to the mesial. The surface displays more concavity and the developmental depression is more pronounced. So these are the distinguishing feature when we compare the canine of right and the left side, that the distal marginal ridge is heavier, this distal surface is more concave and there's a developmental depression which is more pronounced on the distal side. Now coming on to the incisal view, the incisal outline is kind of diamond shape which is asymmetrical. Mesially it is bulkier. Distal half appears to be drawn out. When we see the cingulum shows offset towards the distal, and there are 4 cusp ridge which can be appreciated from the incisal view. First is the mesial cusp ridge, then the distal cusp ridge, then the facial or the labial cusp ridge, then the lingual cusp ridge. So we can appreciate 4 cusp ridge. When we see the root, there is single and the longest root, which in comparison to other teeth, it is wider faciolingually than mesiodistally. The cervical cross section is ovoid. It is normally straight, but sometimes it can be distally tilted. Also, there can be dilaceration, which is in variation or anomalies in cases of maxillary canines. So this is the summary of all the aspects. Thank you.